When it comes to searching for jobs online, there are typically two approaches to take. The first approach is what is often referred to as the scattergun approach. This tends to be a common approach, in which people jump onto any job board and blast out their CV and cover letter for relevant job roles to any hiring company that is recruiting. This approach can work reasonably well, depending on what your goal is. If your goal is to look for a part-time job to help financially support you while you work on your side hustle, then this sort of approach is okay. The second approach is what we call the networking approach. If your goal is to look for your dream job, then you'll want to take a more considered route, which largely involves being far more savvy in how you go about networking online. In this lesson, we'll be discussing both approaches. The first approach we'll be looking at is the networking approach. In this lesson, we've outlined our 4 recommended steps to this approach. These include creating a strong online profile, crafting your networking message, understanding the networking process, and finally, using job boards. This approach may be slower in terms of securing yourself a job in the short term, but it will prove to be vastly more rewarding in the long run. By now, you should already have clarified your vision and mission, and hopefully you'll also have a better idea of what industry and job role you're aiming for. Now, you'll want to start thinking about creating a strong online profile in order to make a positive first impression before you even make contact with a potential recruiter, client, or investor. A good online profile should help to demonstrate the following things: your vision and mission, your industry knowledge, your skills, your past work experiences and the impact you've had, your personality, and, as a huge bonus, evidence that you've already begun networking within your industry. We've already discussed getting set up on Twitter, which is a great site to begin demonstrating some of this. Now let's move on to LinkedIn. There are 6 parts to creating an attractive and convincing online profile on LinkedIn. These include an attractive profile picture and executive summary, highlighting the impact you've made in your previous work roles, a convincing portfolio of work, testimonials from past work colleagues or clients, developing a relevant network, and posting and engaging with industry leadership content. Let's run through each of these now. Firstly, make sure you have a high-quality profile picture of yourself. We suggest using an image that clearly shows your face and where you're looking your best. Your executive summary is a crucial marketing tool that concisely states your purpose, value, and impact. So it's important that you spend a bit of time to perfect it. Your new employer is looking for someone who can deliver an impact. This means you're being hired to deliver results, optimize staff performance, and drive growth. So you really want to be emphasizing your leadership qualities, as well as your past achievements in terms of delivering results and growth. Here are some tips to keep in mind when writing your executive summary. What are your career ambitions? What are your vision, mission, and values? What are your strengths and achievements to date? And what impact did you make in your previous roles? And finally, how can you help businesses make or save money? Your answers from exercise 17 will help with this exercise too. Most of us are neither trained nor terribly comfortable talking about ourselves, but like any skill, as you deliver your executive summary over and over, you'll improve it. When it comes to communicating your impact during your previous roles, we'd suggest highlighting both quantitative statistics and emphasizing your leadership qualities. For example, you may have consistently hit your key targets and deadlines, or you may have, in some creative capacity, improved internal operational efficiency, helping speed up how the company does business, or you may be good at motivating your colleagues. All of these are great examples of demonstrating your impact and the return on investment for the company. Employers tend to mostly value seeing evidence of how you've applied your skills within real work experiences. In other words, they don't just want you to tell them what you can do, they want you to show them. A good way of doing this is to create an online portfolio of your work. A lot of people will say you should create a mini website using a free website such as Wix to show off your portfolio of work. This can be worth doing if you're a freelancer and have an impressive portfolio of work that you'd like to showcase and present in a professional way. However, creating something like this can take a lot of time, and it will add extra work into your already busy schedule. Instead, you may just want to consider using your LinkedIn profile to showcase your portfolio of work. The need for a portfolio tends to be more common among freelancers, so don't worry too much if you haven't got loads of examples you can show off. Even if you don't currently have lots of digital examples that you can share on your profile, at least keep this in mind that whenever you do work on any future projects, you can add that work to your portfolio once the project comes to an end. Getting a few positive testimonials from past work colleagues can also be a great way of boosting your LinkedIn profile. A good way of going about this is to reach out to people you've worked with in the past and offer to recommend them, and in return if they would be happy to recommend you at the same time. It's common on LinkedIn to just accept connection requests from everyone and anyone. This is a mistake. We recommend taking some time to go through all of your LinkedIn connections and get rid of anyone who doesn't fit into your stakeholder list, as you should have identified in Exercise 8. Of course, you'll also want to keep friends, family, and good acquaintances you have made during your different work experiences. However, there will probably be a lot of dead wood in your LinkedIn network too, who you don't either have a great relationship with, meaning they're very unlikely to help you out, or they work in a completely unrelated industry. Over time, you want to ideally be building up a network of relevant professionals who work in your industry. This is how you'll begin to really optimize your LinkedIn experience. Networking is a huge part of your career development, and we will be focusing on it in more detail later on in this lesson and in other lessons too. You've heard the expression, "It's not what you know, but who you know." Well, we would like to take this one step further and say, it's not who you know, but how well you know them and how often you appear on their radar. There are two goals when it comes to networking and finding your dream job. Firstly, to improve your content marketing game. This is what establishes you as an industry expert. And secondly, to increase your profile visibility to your industry peers. The main reason why you want to develop a strong LinkedIn network is that it will give you access to a goldmine of relevant thought leaders within your industry, who you can not only learn from, in terms of how they go about posting and sharing content on their feeds, but you can also comment on and share their content too. By doing this, it will not only help position you as an active member within your professional community, helping your face pop up on the radar of your industry peers, but it will also open up a goldmine of content marketing ideas, which you can repurpose into your own unique content later when developing your content marketing plan. When it comes to creating your content marketing plan, we recommend checking out Lesson 20, where we go into this in more depth. Using Exercise File 20, you should be able to now start shaping your LinkedIn profile by adding a professional photo of yourself, a nice LinkedIn banner, a convincing executive summary. You can use the template found in Exercise File 20 to help you get the ball rolling with this. Also, go through your job history on LinkedIn and outline a series of 4 to 6 bullet points for each of your past job roles, highlighting the impact and leadership qualities you brought to each role. Also, as discussed, begin thinking about collecting examples of your best work and displaying them on your LinkedIn profile. Try also reaching out to 5 to 10 people in your current LinkedIn network and ask them for a recommendation. And last but not least, go through all of your LinkedIn connections and get rid of any dead wood. Remember, you don't always have to get your LinkedIn profile perfect straight away. You can always continue to tweak it over time. At this point, you now want to be getting really clear as to what your networking message is. This is because there is no point to even attempting to build a network if you don't have a service or product that you're promoting. Remember, if your chosen career route is to find your new dream job, then essentially you are the product. In this case, you are essentially selling yourself, your passion for the industry, and knowledge of your job role. So, before you go out all guns blazing to grow your network, you have to firstly ensure that the product, which in this example is you, is packaged together as attractively as possible, and that you have a clear idea of what your goal is. The next step now is to create a powerful and concise message to deliver to your professional network when you do reach out to them. In exercise file 21, we've drafted a template message to help give you an idea of what to say. You'll want to refine your message to match your circumstances, though. This may mean directly pitching yourself for an open opportunity or gaining leads for potential opportunities. It's a good idea to have several template messages saved here, aimed at the different audience segments you are targeting. For example, this not only includes the companies that you're interested in working for and recruiters, but also your messaging for your affiliate stakeholders, and different target customers can be saved in this exercise file too. Let's now get back to the key part of this lesson. Most experts agree that only 30% of all new jobs are advertised on job boards. That means that the majority of opportunities never make it to the job boards. So, how do you tap into the other 70%? The answer is, you guessed it, through networking. You want to start off by sending the right message to the right people. As you work on building your new career, you'll need to, first and foremost, build a professional network. This will be an ongoing career tactic, and it's best learned early. Professional contacts are helpful in many ways, from gaining greater insights into your industry to keeping you updated when new job roles become available. The first step to this is to organize and prioritize your professional contacts. We suggest you do so in 3 ways. Firstly, identify the best companies in your industry. Within Exercise 8, you will already have your CRM organized into different tabs categorized by your different industries. If you haven't already made a start on this, then you can start now by populating your CRM with the top companies that you'd like to work for and slotting them into the relevant industry tab. You can begin by initially adding whatever top companies in your industry immediately spring to mind, but you can then use your Twitter research to help you with this too, as explained in Lesson 9. You can also find some of the best companies to work for in your industry by searching the Escape the City website. The link can be found in your Tools folder, and filtering your search based on your industry. You can then use LinkedIn to help you search and add any HR and relevant department contacts from those companies into your CRM too. At the same time, you can also send out a LinkedIn connection request to add these contacts to your LinkedIn network. At this point, if you're ready, you can also send them your networking message that you would have drafted in the previous exercise. Additionally, you may also want to add these companies and contacts into your relevant Twitter lists too. Just because a job isn't listed doesn't mean there aren't opportunities. If you really want to work for a company, approach them directly to make your case. Audacity is required in order to be successful. Don't fear rejection. There will probably be lots of times when you get rejected and knocked back, but remember, all it takes is one great connection to help spark your dream career. Secondly, you can then begin adding industry recruiters to your CRM too. Typically, the best approach is to firstly just contact the general office of the top recruitment companies and, even better, industry-specific recruitment agencies, who then should be able to direct you to specific recruiters within your niche. Set yourself a target of adding 10 to 15 relevant recruitment agencies to your CRM. You don't have to do them all in one sitting. You can add to this every time you stumble across one. Then, when you're ready, send them all an email. Hopefully, this should then lead you to being able to add individual industry-specific recruitment consultants to your CRM. Once you have assembled your list of individual recruiters, you can then email them too. Email is typically the best way for professionals to communicate. However, you could also send them a private message on LinkedIn too. You're not asking or pleading with a recruiter to take you on or do you some big favor. If you found a recruiter who's always on the lookout for great people in your industry, you're actually taking one step out of their job. They don't have to find you. You've just arrived on their doorstep. Great recruiters can open up a lot of doors for you, so they are certainly a beneficial addition to your online network. Once you have sent everyone your networking message, you then want to make sure you're connected to them all on LinkedIn and Twitter. This will allow you to strengthen your relationship with those contacts, as well as keep your eye on when they may post relevant job opportunities in your industry. The third way of growing your network is to focus on tapping into your inner circle. These are people you already know who may already work in your industry. Typically, the best way to go about this is to spend one day looking through all of your connections on LinkedIn and then message anyone who you think might be able to help. Of course, tweak the message to each individual. If they're from a while back, remind them who you are and how you know each other. Don't be pushy. If it's been a while since you've talked to them, ask them what they're doing and make sure they have your contact information and you have theirs. Then be sure to let them know that you're looking for a job in that industry. Ask them if they have any advice or if they know anyone you should contact. This last step can be amazingly productive. Once you send messages to your LinkedIn inner circle, sit back and wait to hear from them. The people that you don't hear back from, it's almost safe to just remove them from your LinkedIn network, unless they're a really interesting thought leader. Over time, your goal on LinkedIn is to remove everybody who is of no interest to your personal or professional development and replace them with people who are. In summary, the more you practice networking and marketing your online brand, the more the whole process will become second nature. If your goal is to sustainably build your career by climbing up the corporate ladder, then we don't think you should be spending a lot of time on job boards. Generally, it is best practice to spend a small amount of time on job boards, and the majority of your time should be on networking. A lot of people jump to job boards because that makes you feel like you're doing something, but really, what's going to help you in the long run is the online profile and network you build and grow. However, you shouldn't rule out job boards completely, and they may very well still have an important place in your job hunt, particularly if you're looking for a job in the immediate future. Here are some top tips when you do look at job boards. First, start off by bookmarking the career pages of any of your favorite companies and check back on them regularly to see if any relevant job openings pop up on there. Secondly, we recommend checking out the job boards highlighted in your job search folder. Last but not least, don't forget to check LinkedIn. LinkedIn has a useful job search section that allows you to apply through the platform. And it shows you who in your network works at that company too, which is handy if you're already working on growing a strong network. If your goal is to find a part-time job working from home to simply earn some money while you work on your side hustle, then you may want to consider a different approach. We will be going into this in more detail in a later lesson, but we will quickly highlight some of the key points now. When you take this approach, the job that you're applying for is not supposed to be anything too fancy. It's essentially a cash cow to help financially support yourself while you work on developing your side hustle. So, you want to pick a job role that will be fairly low maintenance and most likely part-time. If this is your goal, then we'd suggest searching for these job roles, which tend to fit well with remote work opportunities. Digital marketing assistant, or you could just search for marketing, virtual assistant, customer service, admin assistant, sales, and design. Of course, you want to be choosing a job that best aligns with your specific career goals and experience. Finding a part-time, low-maintenance job is your priority here, but it would be a huge bonus if you can find one operating in your desired industry, so it's worth keeping that in mind too. If your goal is to find a part-time job that you can work from home while you work on your side hustle, we would recommend searching on these sites, and if you haven't done so already, bookmark them into your bookmark bar now. A good place to start your job search in the UK is Indeed. Their search options are simple but effective. Just make sure you know what job role you're searching for and search for remote in the Where search bar. This is perfect for UK residents. Similar to Indeed, but not as good, is Glassdoor, which would be our second choice. At number 3, we have flagged up ZipRecruiter. This website is incredible. It's actually arguably the best choice of the lot, as it just seems to automatically pull in all jobs from around the internet. As with Indeed, just make sure you know what job role you're searching for and search for remote in the search bar. Flexjobs.com is also great and has lots of remote jobs from around the world. Just make sure to search based on your desired job role and country. Escape the City only has a small selection of remote job roles to pick from, but you can find some hidden gems here. They tend to have quality control on the companies they promote, so you can find some great companies here. Again, this is particularly suited for UK residents. That Works For Me is again mainly for UK residents. There is a small selection of remote job roles to pick from here, but the site is still worth looking into. Remotive also has a great selection of global jobs you can do wherever you are in the world. Remote OK is an interesting site also worth checking out. It has a great selection of global jobs you can do wherever you are in the world. And finally, Outsourcely is a job board that is mainly for the US. However, there are some opportunities here open to applicants outside of the US too. The search flexibility is pretty rigid, so it's not the best option on this list, but maybe worth a look into if you have some spare time. When applying for job roles, it's better to apply slowly and carefully, rather than going for the spray and pray approach. In the next video lesson, we'll be outlining top tips to optimize your CV and cover letter before you hit that send button.